Ayy, look, yeah, ayy. I'm in the lab like Dexter, brand new batch he tested. I'm with all the extras, don't try and bitch, I'm pressure. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers.
Let's go ahead and move on to these NBA award predictions. And as always, we'll start off with MVP.
So my MVP for the 2024 season, I got Giannis, and then my honorable mention would be Jason Tatum. I think it just makes the most sense to me to have those two.
My MVP this year going to be Jason Tatum. Honorable mention going to be Anthony Davis.
For me, my MVP is going to be JT. And for my honorable mention, I'm going Nikola Jokic. I feel like he needs one more in the trophy room because from what happened last year, he definitely got robbed. I'm not going to move off of the MVP conversation before I hear an explanation on why you have AD there, Big H.
Yeah, it's kind of
that's nuts. That's legit crazy. I'm an AD guy too, so if
that's
coming
from me, it's crazy.
I'm just saying. Just listen. Last 3 years, we've been saying it's time for LeBron to hand off the baton to AD. You know, every single year we've been saying that, and it hasn't happened. I just feel like this is the year that we finally let AD, or LeBron finally lets AD takes that reign. I feel like this year he can be healthy. I feel like he's in contention for Defensive Player of the Year, and I feel like offensively he can. If he could be consistent, the guy can average you 28 and 13 on the offensive side of the ball. And he can be one of the best defensive players in the league at the same time. So why not put him in MVP contention? If we're winning games and if we can get, a top 2 to 3 seed in the West, why not throw him in the contention? And a lot of it's based off AD showing up for us this year because I do not expect a 40-year LeBron to be carrying us this full season.
What does AD have to average for him to be in contention for MVP?
Like I said, 28 and 12 and got to be Defensive Player of the Year. He got to be in contention for that Defensive Player of the Year.
I just don't think I'll see a situation where we'll see more of the first half of LeBron, like that version we saw of him last year. That first half, averaging 26. That's the version of LeBron I expect to see. So, and I still think that he'll be the number one guy on the roster.
Now we got to get AD going. You got to get AD going immediately. I don't want him to start off slow. It's the same stuff that happens every single year. He starts off slow, he warms up, and then when postseason comes, playoff comes, it's the inconsistency. He's never been consistent for us in the playoffs, except that finals year. But coming back to last year, just looking at it, it's just, one game he's great, then the next game he gives you 13 points, and then one game he's great again, and then offensively he gives you 15 points. He's shooting 4 for 17, and he's great defensively, but we need more help on the offensive side of the ball. So for me, I feel like if he can be consistent on the basis for a full year, I feel like he'd be in the MVP contention.
It's fair enough, man. I'm actually hoping he can stay healthy for once. I'm an AD guy, so it's always good to see him out there putting up numbers. Next, we have Defensive Player of the Year. I hope we can all agree on this one.
So for Defensive Player of the Year, I have AD winning it, and my honorable mention would be Evan Mobley.
Yes, sir. I got AD winning it, and then honorable mention. I feel like Bam deserves it. I feel like he got shanked a couple times his last couple years. I feel like people don't look at Miami and how much value that Bam brings to that team, and they always just look at, hey, look what Jimmy's doing, and Jimmy shows up every single playoffs, but Bam's he is one of the most consistent players for Miami. And I feel like defensively he's one of the best players in the league, and that gets overshadowed a lot. I got him as an honorable mention.
For me, I'm doubling down from what I predicted last year. I think Rudy Gobert is going to be Defensive Player of the Year. No, I'm just playing. I thought we're gonna be able to agree on this one. I have Bam being my Defensive Player of the Year. My honorable mention is Anthony Davis.
I kind of gave up on picking Bam. I'm not gonna lie.
You think the voters are just not going to play in his favor?
Just fucking overlooked him twice.
Yeah, the voters.
I kind of gave up on that dream.
They messing with him.
I kind of gave up on that dream. Plus, the thing is, though, it's just the reason why that season of 2022 was perfect was because we were the first seed, and so that was a perfect opportunity for the voters to be able to give Bam, the Defensive Player of the Year. But then they came in with the bullshit. He didn't have enough games under his belt, and then they turned around and next year they handed it off to Jaren Jackson Jr., who played a similarly amount of minutes as Bam when he was injured. But it's the inconsistency of the vote, so I kind of gave up on Bam. So I just don't think our defense our overall team standings going to be good enough where voters are going to be like, okay, look at Miami, they're a 6th seed, whatever, 7th seed, but Bam's been playing great defense. I think they'll just kind of overlook it. It's the same thing with Brooklyn, as I don't think Nick Claxton dropped off defensively at all. He was one of the best defensive players in the league last season, but just because Katie and Kyrie left, and then they dropped all the way down to the 7th seed, people were like, "Oh, look at their defense; it fell off." But I just don't think that. I think the voters just overlook it. It just kind of ties in, and the Lakers will be the 3rd seed or 4th seed, minimum. So that's where perfect for AD to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Monroe mentions Anthony Davis, so I think it's fair to have him win this award. This one should be easy. Rookie of the Year. I believe we're all going with the same player, Wembanyama. Honorable mention, Chet.
My honorable mention would, I've been kind of juggling between Chet and Scoot. I think it's gonna be Scoot just because he's gonna have full reins of that Portland Trailblazers team. I think just because of the team being quite young and they're gonna have him as their starting point guard. Chet is not gonna be able to put up gaudy numbers on that OKC team. I think he'll put a relatively humble 15, 16, 8, 9 rebounds with two blocks a game. I think he's gonna, which is good enough again for a Rookie of the Year campaign. But Wembanyama exists. Nah, there is some other rookies that exist around the league.
For surely Wemby's number 1, but Chet's number 2.
What are some other rookies that have the potential to enter themselves in the conversation? I mean, because last year we saw J-Dub make it, we saw Walker Kessler make the discussion.
I kind of like what Amen's going to be able to bring. I think one of the Thompson twins. I think more of Amen, because I think just because of him being a point guard, he's going to be on the ball a lot more, and eventually we're going to see a situation where he gets heavy minutes in that lineup with Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green, because he's built like a small forward, even though he's a point guard. You have Ausar Thompson. I don't think Jarris Walker is going to be enough of a contributor because you have Obi Toppin there. You have a bunch of guys in Indiana, but I really think one of the Thompson twins would definitely have a shot at winning Rookie of the Year. But it feels like this is kind of like a one-legged Rookie of the Year, and everybody else is kind of just chasing Wemby.
Yeah, it's Wemby number 1, but Chet, man, I feel like Chet can average 18, 8, and like 3 blocks.
18? That all right, bro. Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
I mean, 18 points is not that much in this NBA now.
We have the biggest Chet believer in the house, and he doesn't. I don't even think he believes Chet.
I have him at like 16
points.
I have him at like 16. That's only because I you have Shea there. You have Josh Giddey, who averages about 18. You have J-Dub, who's probably going to take a leap as well.
Giddey's stats about to go down. He got to make some way for Chet. He ain't averaging 18 again this
year. Chet's not going to come into the league.
If Giddey can average 18, I promise you Chet can.
What is Wembanyama going to average if Chet's averaging 18?
I really think Wemby's going to
I really believe 23. On a 35 minute a night, he's averaging 23. Like 23, 24, 25.
Okay.
Like I have Wemby making All NBA year 1.
Yeah.
Like I really believe Wembanyama is gonna. Like I kind of when I was coming into this season during the summer, I kind of was thinking, well, he might be averaging a humble 17. Nah. Then I looked at the preseason, I'm like, yo, this guy's gonna average like 23. Because forget the shot creation, because everybody was talking about the shot creation is gonna eventually land with him. He's just off the play finishing, the lob threat that he is, and just finishing over guys. That's enough as it is. Then you add in the fact that he can shoot. It's just what?
Defensively, even on the defensive side of the ball, even after the blocks and everything, it's just the fast break and how fast he can get down on that fast break. He's one of the first 2 down there, and it's always a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1. He's leading the fast break. Guys, it's going to be fun to see him play. I believe
the only question mark I have is how much Pop is going to play Wemby. I think he's going to be very kind of careful with how he operates with Wembanyama, but with the Rookie of the Year awards what 65 games now, I think.
Yeah, there's a cap now on these awards.
Preseason,
I think 65 games he can. Pop might let him hit it.
Yeah, I feel like he can. Yeah, he's gonna play a lot, but Wemby's gonna be nice.
Damn, 23 points and All NBA in year 1. This freak of nature of an athlete, man.
That defensive team too. Don't forget it.
Guy's gonna have himself a hell of a rookie year if he's able to live up to it.
And All NBA is positionless now, so there's that as well.
That's ridiculous, man. Moving on from Rookie of the Year, now we move on to Coach of the Year.
Okay, this one I have Frank Vogel winning this, just because I think the Suns are gonna finish the 2nd seed, and I don't think they're gonna give it to Michael Malone. I think it makes sense that they give it to Frank Vogel. I think he's gonna have the Suns playing a lot better, especially on the defensive end, better than people think. I think people are kind of underrating that the role players that the Suns kind of just picked up here and there. I think they'll be a lot better on that end than people think. And Frank Vogel's a defensive coach. And my honorable mention is Mark Dagnall from OKC. Last year he was in contention for it just because of what he was able to do with that line. That's such a young team, especially without a center like Chet. Now this year they're going to be looking to compete. It could also be Minnesota. They burned me last year when I picked Chris Finch to win it. So I don't think I'm gonna double down, but if I had a second honorable mention, it would be them. I think that they have to put it together.
I got Darvin Ham. No honorable mention.
No honorable mention, just straight like that.
I believe we can get above 52 wins this year, healthy and everything.
Who won last year? Mike Brown?
I think Mike Brown won.
To Mike Brown?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, for me, my coach of the year, it's very similar to Big H's. I do have Darvin Ham winning the coach of the year, and then my honorable mention.
But the Bucks do have a new coach though, right? So
Adrian Griffin. Now, my question to you guys was going to be like, how much credit are they going to give to him if they're able to win the same amount of games as they did last year? Are they going to give credit to him, or are they just going to give credit to that roster that they got? Because Mike Budenholzer left them at 57 wins. And if they're still hovering around the same,
I don't think they're going to give him a crazy amount of credit.
The issue is them getting over that playoff hump now.
Yeah,
that comes with coaching. I felt like Budenholzer last year, he had some mistakes in those playoffs that especially in that Miami series.
Underrated one is the Indiana Pacers head coach. I think
Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle could have a shot at it. If they end up being a 4th, 5th seed, he could have a shot at it.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if they could push that 48 wins in that East and be that potential 4th to 3rd seed, yeah.
If OKC take another leap, then I can see their coach Mark Dagnall winning as well. But they're gonna have to take another leap from what they did last year. For me, yeah, Darvin Ham and then Frank Vogel. 6th man of the year. Who do we got?
I have Jonathan Kuminga winning this. My honorable mention, Norman Powell.
Malik Monk. Honorable mention. Ooh. Who's another good bench piece that is going to be contributing to a starting lineup that's going to push him to a playoff spot?
There's Quickly. There's.
I was going to say Quickly, but
I don't know if Derek White. I don't know if Derek White is starting or not. He is starting, I believe.
Yeah,
so
White
could be Malcolm Brogdon.
Brogdon's on Portland, huh?
Yeah, and he's not going to start.
He ain't gonna start.
I don't know if they're. I don't know if
they're not gonna have enough wins.
Yeah. I'll say Kuminga. I don't like the Warriors, but it's time that he takes that next step forward for the team. And like I said, Chris Paul leading that bench unit. If he can help and contribute to Kuminga's growth, it's going to be big addition. And I'm still surprised that Draymond really hasn't taken him under his wing and try to teach him and make him a better player.
But he's scared of getting punched.
That's a bully. That's a bully, man.
He's scared of getting punched. Can you blame him?
I don't blame Kuminga for not trying to work out with him on his spare time. So, but
it's not a guy you want to be around, bro.
That is true.
For me though, I'm going Malik Monk for sure as my 6th man of the year winner, and then my honorable mention.
Relax.
You copy my notes, bro. But my honorable mention is definitely Jonathan Kuminga. But the only thing is, I can see Malik. The only reason why I can see Malik Monk winning this is I feel like coming off the bench, this guy's gonna average an easy 18 points per game. Like
he gets starter minutes. That's the funny part. Coming off the bench, he gets 30 minutes, 32 minutes a game. So it's easy Lou Williams stat line.
So like he's gonna be able to put up 18 points per game with ease just based on the fact that he's gonna be playing so much. For Jonathan Kuminga, I just don't know what he has to average in order for him to win this award. Like maybe somewhere around like coming off the bench, giving you 14 to 16 points per game. I just don't know, because if it comes down to that, then they're going to start taking into account the wins and the losses. And I'm not too sure if the Warriors are going to have a lot more wins than a team like the Sacramento Kings. But those are definitely my top 2 candidates for 6th man of the year.
Wait, question, Big H, is Rui Hachimura starting, right?
Nah, he's coming off the bench.
I
forgot about
why would Rui come off the bench? Oh, he is coming off the bench.
Yeah, we're going.
I think you guys are going with Reeves and D'Lo in the backcourt.
And then Tarian Prince and LeBron and AP.
I mean, is Rui such a
Dude,
bad?
what?
Is
All right,
it a bad one?
relax. Torian Prince over Rui?
I'm pretty sure Tarian Prince is starting. I'm 100% sure he started tomorrow against the Nuggets.
What type of starting
It was
five
either
is
that,
that,
it
bro?
was either him or it was Vanderbilt, but I'm pretty sure we went Prince as a starter.
Isn't Vanderbilt hurt right now?
I think Vanderbilt's hurt, but when he comes back, he's gonna be starting.
Okay, then that makes sense. See that threw me off for a little bit. There's no reason Torian Prince should
Rui
be
off the bench,
starting.
though, that's another good option for six man.
What about Kelly Oubre? Now, don't laugh. Genuinely think about it. Genuinely think about it.
I have one question.
I'm not
What team
gonna
does
say
he play for?
He plays for the Sixers.
No, bro.
Nah.
You're not. Now you're joking.
No,
Now
but
you're
think
taking
about
the
it though.
piss, bro.
Think about it though. Last year with the Hornets, he averaged what, like 19, 20, whatever. He was the first option. Doesn't matter. Now he's coming off the bench for a Philly team that could be a top 4 seed. What's stopping him from potentially winning a 6-man of the year? Unless they really start him, which I think they probably should. I mean, they have fucking 40-year-old PJ Tucker.
They gotta let.
What did he average last year?
Like, I'm pretty sure when he was playing with the Hornets, it was like 19 a game or something like that, or 20. I'd have to check that, but something like that.
I can go ahead and fact check that right now. I don't know, man.
He averaged 20. Wow.
20 points. Wow.
But he was the de facto number one option with LaMelo out, basically.
Okay, I take back my laughing remark. I think he can definitely be a candidate, but with James Harden now, does that insert him into the starting lineup? What is the lineup going to look like without James Harden for the beginning of the season?
I mean, does that just mean DeAnthony Melton is going to be a starter then?
Well, they still have him, so they put him and Maxey in the backcourt. They still have Tobias.
Yeah,
they're not going to play Kelly.
Don't tell me fucking PJ Tucker, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think PJ Tucker probably will start, but alongside Embiid.
It's gonna be Pat Bev, Maxey, PJ Tucker, Harris.
Milton's a 6-man, but that's the smallest backcourt of all time. So
Pat Bev a dog though. It don't matter how short he is.
I mean, I think Kelly Oubre could be a candidate. I think now that I think about it, because he's gonna have the freedom to do whatever if it's just him and Maxey in the backcourt and alongside all the other guys. I mean, then obviously you still have Tobias Harris there, but Kelly Oubre is still going to be able to find his. So that's another good candidate. I kind of view him in the same light as like Norman Powell, but I probably put Norman Powell ahead of him. Now, last award on this list, we have the Most Improved Player award.
This one, I hate the fact that they give it to top overall draft picks, but like I still have this guy winning it. I have Cade Cunningham winning it. I'm not I used to think about the fact that guys would be able to win it even if they're their top draft picks, and now I'm kind of on the other side of the spectrum where I'm not a big fan of it, but I kind of just I've embraced the fact that Cade Cunningham's gonna have a big year. I think he's gonna have a bounce back year. I think he's gonna have an all-star level year. A guy who he was dealing with a foot injury. He's dealing with a shin injury. It's kind of hampering his shooting ability. I think now, him healthy and him being the leader of this team, I think he's going to be able to put together a really, really strong season. My honorable mention is going to be Mikal Bridges. Whether he can sustain, I'm not even expecting him to sustain that level of play that he had when he first came to Brooklyn. But, something where he's averaging 23, 24, because he is going to be the number one option. I think that's going to be enough to be able to push him in that Most Improved Player of the Year discussion.
Oh, for me, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on the Cade Cunningham part. I do believe, him. I think he does take that leap into being an all-star. I think he does take that leap to being the star of the Pistons, and rightfully so. He's shown flashes and glimpses. We've seen him produce. We've seen him show. We've seen him hoop, and now they have a much, much better roster than the roster that he was on almost necessarily 2 seasons ago, since he didn't play last year. I mean, it's a much different type of roster. I feel like they got much better pieces around him, and he's gonna step in and take that next step. And I feel like it's time for him. Third year in the league. I feel like last year was the year. Barring injury, those first couple games he was hooping, and it's bad to see injuries happen. But season-ending injury, I feel like this year he's gonna come back. And he's gonna dominate. So I got him one, and then another guy I already mentioned, Keegan Murray. So he's gonna take that next step, and Mike Brown's gonna ask him a lot more. He's gonna ask him offensively and defensively, and I feel like rightfully so that he needs to be that guy for the team. And it can't be Harrison Barnes taking that shot, or it can't be, God, what's his name? Who's the starting shooting guard?
Kevin Huerter.
Kevin Huerter. Yeah, that guy, horrible shooter. Our problem is the playoffs. He comes. That guy was just ice cold. And, he can't be, taking majority of the shots. He can't be having 15 shots a game. So like Keegan Murray has to have, that 15 shots a game. He got to be second to third option scoring wise. And I feel like he's gonna take that next step. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, my most improved player was either Michael Bridges or Cade Cunningham. I won't go too in depth into the reasoning why. Everything you guys have said what I was going to say. But those two are my top two candidates. For number one for me is Michael Bridges, and then number two, Cade Cunningham as my honorable mention. Now that wraps up our NBA award predictions.
For me, Michael Bridges, right? We've seen him, come from the Suns and go to Brooklyn. We already seen him take that next step forward to what was the averaging on Phoenix? 17 points a game, 16 points a game to what, 24, 25 on Brooklyn? I mean, what's the next step forward for him to be?
I mean, he was averaging on the season like 21 or 20.
No, I'm just saying when he came to Brooklyn, like the average.
When he came to Brooklyn, he played 27 games, averaging 26 points. So I think it's not, when it comes to like taking a leap for a guy like Mikal Bridges, it's not so about, how many more points can he score than 26 during his stint with Brooklyn. It's more about consistency. Can we see him put it all together through a full season? Can we get a larger sample size, a larger body of work? So if he's able to continuously average 26 points per game, then by all means, I think he's well worthy enough to, earn that most improved player award. But, I think it's probably going to take something crazy for like Cade Cunningham absolutely going crazy, having himself a very great year, to take an award from a guy like Mikal Bridges, who's shown us some flashes last year, but a lot of people had their questions whether or not he could sustain this for a full season. So that's kind of where I stand with it when I view Mikal Bridges in the light of winning the most improved player award, because obviously we saw him take the leap from Phoenix to Brooklyn, but now is he able to continue that going forward? But that wraps up our NBA award predictions.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lakes, now that's overkill.